it's Pixie. Glad you could join me today. We're here on my kitchen floor. I got my blanket with a lot of lint on it, as usual. And I want to talk to you about Camp NaNoWriMo. I will leave their FAQ in a link in the description, so you can get the details there. What you need to know for the purpose of this video is that Camp NaNoWriMo is an offset of NaNoWriMo, which is an event that takes place on the internet every November, where you're supposed to write 50,000 words in that month. Camp NaNoWriMo is in April and July, and during camp you can set your own word count goal, so you don't have to do 50k if you don't want to. So the pros and cons I will be talking about are mostly what are the advantages of camp versus the main NaNoWriMo, and what are the cons, but also kind of my experiences with both of these events in general, because they are really big events for writers. I mean, not all writers, but a lot of us. So I figured it was worth having a conversation with you about it, and of course I would be thrilled to hear what your experience has been and what you think, if you have done it, or if you haven't and considering it, like what are your hesitations. I want to help in the ways that I can. But yeah, so for me, I think that setting my own word count goal during camp is a big pro, because the one time that I completed the 50,000 during Nano, I was really burned out afterwards, and the material I had produced, I let it sit for a bit, for like 3 months or so, and then I came back to it and I couldn't stomach working with it because I was so deeply unhappy with it. Now I guess that could be down to perfectionism that I need to work on, so judge for yourself if that might be an issue for you, but I just thought I would mention it. On the other hand, if you set your own goal, the risk is that you don't push yourself, because one thing I did find when I did the full 50k was that pushing myself like that let me, like, for certain moments abandon perfectionism and just write with like reckless abandon. And while I feel like it wasn't worth it because I couldn't use anything that I wrote, writing like that kind of it really helped me first and foremost nurture a writing habit. Like I had already been striving to write every day, but pushing myself further made it easier for me to get into flow, and I noticed afterwards that it was easier for me to write a larger amount of words. Now, since then, I have kind of discovered that writing a large amount of words isn't where my writing is at its best, but that's a style thing, and I think that trying everything once is a good approach to any creative endeavor. So I definitely think you should try it if you're curious about it, because the only way to figure out what works for you and what doesn't is to try it. So that's my opinion on that. Pros and cons as far as comparing camp and the main Nano. During the main Nano in my town, there are meetups once a week, so you can sit and write with other people and having a like in the flesh community. I mean, because it's such a big event, there are forums and like Twitter accounts and hashtags, so you can connect with people even if you don't have meetups. But I found those really fun and helpful. Plus the leader for the group gives us stickers, which I personally think is great. But during camp, they put you in a cabin, or you can make your own cabin if you have friends who do it. You don't have to be with random people, but you can if you want to meet new people. And I prefer that as opposed to forums, because I think it's a maximum of 5 people in a cabin or something like that. It's not a big group, because you become a little gang if you're active in the cabin, and you can get people to cheer you on. And I personally find that cheering others on is like motivating for me too. So I really do like the cabins. I mean, this pro-con thing kind of cancels itself out, but again, I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, one thing that I super enjoy about both Nano and Camp Nano is the little chart that you get that like shows your progress physically, not physically because it's digital, but I'm not sure if chart is the right word, but like this. A very bad visual, but I find this super enjoyable and very satisfying to be able to see that I've done something. That's something I really enjoy about drawing as well. There was nothing there, and then there is something. And when you're writing on a computer, you don't always get that sense that you have done something. When I'm in the middle of a project, I don't usually feel like I'm getting anywhere. So seeing that little, whatchamacallit, seeing it go up, super satisfying. However, you can get that at any time with a website called Pacemaker, which I will also link below, where you can set like any goal you want, and you can set it to having the weekends off, and there's a ton of different options. So that's a tool that I would really recommend if you find it helpful to work with the goals and stuff. Like, one thing that's helpful about that for me is to sort of see the end of the project, because I can get super discouraged in the middle of something and feel like it's never, like I'm never gonna finish it, like it's never gonna end, that it's impossible to get done. And if I have that little chart and like I see it grow, and there's a like set finish date for that first draft, that makes it a lot more tangible and easier for for my little brain to comprehend, if that makes sense. To sum up slightly, I would say that the main benefit of doing a challenge like this is to foster and nurture a writing habit. I think that's the important thing, and something really rewarding. The main downside for me is the risk of burning out. But with camp, you can preempt that by setting a relatively low goal and set yourself up for success in that way. Or you can forego camp and make your own schedule with Pacemaker. It's up to you. I think I'm gonna do Camp Nano this year, but I'm probably gonna set a pretty low goal because school is kind of overwhelming me. My health is kind of bad, so I need to economize my energy. But I wanna do it, and let me know if you will. If you haven't written before, maybe it's a cool thing to just throw yourself into head first and have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed and found this helpful. If this is your first time, I post videos about writing and art every Saturday, and I would love to have you along on this creative journey. Thank you so much for watching, and leave me a like if you enjoyed it. And I always feel like there are more things I should say in the outro, but I don't think there are. Just subscribe, like, and take care of yourself, have fun, and make stuff.